thank you for such a nice flow that you had, during your engagement, and starting the session with the basic difference between what democracy and sociocracy means, and how, putting it in a simpler, more acceptable term, like you said, consent based. I think that set a very, very, very nice tone for all of us. We are actually having some lot of feedback from the audience, so I'll just share. I'd like to share some of them with you. So, Yasin Liaquat has said that a good leader empowers others to be leaders. When when you said that statement is something she found to be very effective and a learning experience for her. And again, what the vice principal of RRIS has also said, that you create what you imagine. That is again something that stuck with her for the session. I think if you go through the chat, there's so many aspects, where you understand that the way you spoke about certain things and how passionately you spoke about it, it was very evident, that you're talking from something that you truly believe in, that you truly know works, because you experience it, day in and day out.
Yeah.
So let me just check if we have more questions coming in. So we have a question from Madhumita Adhya. She's asking, how is it possible to use this system in a culturally and economically diverse country like India?
Yeah. I think it's very important that we embrace all the cultural and economical diversity that there is. So that's the first basic thing you have to address. And I realize that all countries trying to use the consent method. You can start small. You can start with your own family and say, let's practice to just take a topic and try to talk it without interfering, without helping the other. What we normally do is, when somebody is talking, then some person will help that person.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really about discipline. This is really about listening and let everybody talk, and at least take 3 seconds of silence before the next person in the circle can talk. But you can start small. I don't know if that's a real answer to your question. But you have to start somewhere. And you have to start when there are much differences. You have to start to appreciate at first that there is difference. And not try to convince each other. Just appreciate the differences.
Very well said, ma'am. So the first thing would be to start, and the first thing you start with is first accept that there are differences, and secondly appreciate that there are differences. I think that is what would actually add a lot of value to the whole decision making process, and that is something that we in our country should be very, very aware about. We also have a lot of all right. So yes, Ms. Madhumita Adhya has expressed her gratitude, saying that you have answered her question very thoughtfully. We have a question, more like what your feelings and thoughts about something are. So, uh, Miss, I think Digavali Rao. Yes. So they are asking, women empowerment is a need of the hour at this juncture, and you have fought with the people who made comments against, let's say, not a school. So can they know who has supported and given strength and courage?
I can you ask last sentence again?
Yes.
Who?
Yes. So may the person is asking, may I know who has supported and given the strength and courage to you?
Oh, who has given the strength and courage to me? Oh, interesting question. I once did a course in the 90s, 1990, and that really woke me up. And that course, I really felt, oh, I didn't live my life before. I realized how indoctrinated I was about what I had to believe, what I had to do, what was good, what was wrong, what was whatever. So I really woke up in my own existence. And then I thought, oh, I am a free person. So that course empowered me in being really, a really deep feeling about I can create anything I want. And I have a free will. So I want to live deliberate. And so that experience empowered me a lot. And then my life became a complete adventure, because living as a free person and feel that you can create anything you want is very nice. And it's not comfortable, because you get a lot of angry bears on your road who wants to smash you or say you're wrong or you whatever, or they don't understand you. But I felt it is good. It feels good for the world. And I am free, I can create, but I want to create in connection to the world. That's also very important for me, because a lot of, I don't know, but some things or some schools are created because they hate the regular education. But I see it as there are a lot of education which is created, all kinds, and they will attract people who want to be with all these different schools, and we attract people who wants to be with us. So what we do is also a creation, and it's one I love, and that's what I do. So yeah,
Yes.
so that's the empowerment, and I empower myself because I know that I can create what I want.
That's very powerful what you've shared. Believing in yourself and giving yourself the freedom to to bring about a difference is very, very important.
Yes.
We actually have one more question, which is presented by Dr. Yogita Sarwal, asking, do you have any affiliation with any board? A, and B, how is the students' progress measured?
The students program, how it's measured. We only measure if students want to be measured. Students, they can take classes, but it's not necessary. Some students, my eldest son never took a class, and he's now a very successful entrepreneur of a restaurant, and he lives his life and has his own struggles, etc. So he didn't do any lessons. But when you want to test yourself, to really know what do I know, what don't I know, Then testing is a tool. It's not about you are this good or that bad, but it's because you want to know what you already know and knowing what you don't know. And then you can be very focused on what you still have to learn, and you don't lose energy on repeating things that you already know. In our school, our students can do states exams, and of course there are exams, and then you are saying yes to the play of a state exam. They have rules. You have to read that many books, or you have to do this or that. So, but they know that it's a free choice. And then they know, okay, now I'm in that game. Then you can't say, oh, I don't like the game, but I want a diploma. No, then you have to step in that game. But they know it's a game. But we also have students who create their own business, because at our school, students may endlessly dive into some subject that they are really interested in. So some have very high skill and knowledge levels, already university levels, without because they can do it endlessly, sometimes whole day, whole weeks, months for months. So they don't go from one class to one class. No, you can, but you don't need to. So some go, they have their own company when they leave school, and some say, okay, now I want to travel and earn my money, and I see later what I want to do. But they have to have a goal when they have to take responsibility, full responsibility for their next step into society. Work or another education, but they have to be ready and take responsibility for it.
All right.
So, and I forgot the first part of the question. But
yes, I will read it out to you. Is your school affiliated with any education board?
Education board. I even don't know what it is.
So, for example, we have the Cambridge board. We have International Baccalaureate accordingly. Is there any specific? Yeah.
No, we don't have. No.
All right.
But some student. No, we don't have that kind of board. No. But we have inspirational people who we connect to. But we don't have a board.
All right. That's quite refreshing to hear. So the principal of MWS is asking, how can you help us to know and use democratic system in Indian education?
Well, start small. Start in your team. Of course, you have to learn it a little bit by practicing. But it's very important that when you also use it in the classroom, or for your whole school, whatever, when you use it into your classroom, you have and you say, okay, you are free to put proposals in. You have to really define what the limits are of where they can decide upon. And the class should have a goal. What do we want to achieve? So if your class has nothing to say about the finances of school, you don't let them put proposals over the finances in school. So at our school, our students have the possibility, the right to really say anything about everything in school, including which teachers will come back, which teachers we're gonna thank, how much do they get paid. So you really have to know about the domain where you can create in.
All right. So we have a question from DeRuimte. So she wants to know whether the students of Indian Democratic Education in the association are they also participating?
Who?
The Indian Democratic Education Association.
Yeah. We had, I think 2 years ago, there worldwide we have IDEC, and then worldwide we come together, and we are connected most of the time. We have a platform, a digital platform where we can reach each other, and we can actually meet each other once a year or twice a year in one of the guest countries. I think 2 years ago it was in India.